Today is September 9th, which means that in 3 days, Apple will be revealing the new line of iPhones, said to be the iPhone 7s and the iPhone 8. But what about this? The iPhone 7. Could this be all the phone you need at a lower price? Or should you just avoid it and get the 7s? Well, let's find out. Before we get into the review, let's start by saying that I am a big Apple fan, but probably not in the way you might think. This is my iMac, and yes, that is a script. This is my MacBook, and this is my PowerBook G4 Titanium. You see, Apple is experiencing some stagnation with their products, but I still think they make the best mobile phones. My phone before this was the Samsung Galaxy S7, so I'll be comparing my iPhone to that a lot. And yes, I know the Galaxy S8 is out, but the S7 and S8 are very similar, and the S8 was not out when the iPhone 7 was. So here it is, my unbiased, honest review of the iPhone 7. So let's start with the design, because I think this is the iPhone's strong points. It's gorgeous. It's really nice. Compared to the 6S, it looks a lot more plain and classy and elegant, because the 6S bands are very visible and they go across the body here. But you can see here they just wrap around like that, and with this black model you can't even tell they're there. It just looks like one piece of aluminum on the back. Surprisingly, black is actually not my favorite color. I always went mad about the new colors like the gold 5S, the rose gold iPhone 6S, but this is just not my favorite. And that would go to the gold. The gold simply looks more elegant and more expensive, and the black is more subtle. So you can see it even kind of blends in with the screen right here, as one solid piece. Now, when I spent top dollar on my iPhone, I want people to know I have an iPhone, even if I'm afraid to admit it, and a lot of people are the same. The iPhone is like a piece of jewelry. You know, all the celebrities have one, and everyone wants one, and the black is very subtle, people won't notice it, and it's just not the color for me. But again, maybe you want to be stealthy, maybe you don't want people to know you've got an iPhone. This is definitely the color for you, and if you like black, you really like this. It's a really nice shade of black. If you get a chance, please visit an Apple store. They have all the colors, you can look at them, but unfortunately we don't have those in Ireland, so you just gotta look at the pictures and YouTube videos and hope it works out. So the camera does stick out, but unlike ever before, it's sculpted into the aluminium, and it looks very classy, and in my opinion it adds character. It makes the phone a bit different and not just one slab of metal, and I actually do like it. It's nice. On the bottom you might notice a lack of a headphone jack, which was a very bold choice and had many criticisms, but it's definitely not a deal breaker. I think the Apple earbuds that come free with the phone are excellent, and you do get this tiny little adapter that you can just put in your wallet and carry it around and keep it with you. So if you're given an aux cord in an Uber, for example, that you don't have to awkwardly explain yourself. And the only real complaint is that your lightning earbuds for your phone won't work on your laptop or devices that are not the iPad and the iPhone, the iPod. Like, it just won't work on any of them. So maybe they should have included another adapter. I don't even know if they make one for lightning to headphone or headphone to lightning. I'm not sure. But yeah, no headphone jack. The screen is a 4.7-inch Retina HD LCD panel with a resolution of 750p. This is one of the last LCD panels that will be on an iPhone, as Apple have recently partnered with Samsung to make an OLED for the iPhone 8 or edition. Still not sure about the iPhone 7s though, so that could be the last. Steve Jobs once said that 300 pixels is a resolution where lines look continuous and your eyes can't make out the pixels. And this phone has more than 330, so it's definitely sharp. But if you're looking for the sharpest screen on the market, at least at the moment, the iPhone is not the one for you. But it does have excellent color reproduction and it is very efficient. The build is really solid. Materials feel top quality, but it is very slippy, just like the S7. I had situations where the phone just slides out of my pocket in the car or in school, so I would recommend the case. And people often complain, saying, oh, why would you care about the design if you're just going to cover it up with a case? Well, what I would recommend is to get one of these gel cases along with a tempered glass screen protector, because then you pretty simply just slip it in and boom, you can still admire your iPhone, but it's in protection. And with this particular one, the silver really adds to it, and yeah, it gives you more grip, and if the phone falls, it will just bounce right off. Would also recommend a full screen protector for the iPhone, as they have those on eBay now, and basically just put it on, and it's a piece of glass, and it covers the entire screen, so then if your phone falls face down, you can just take the tempered glass screen protector off and get a new one, because it's much cheaper than get a new screen, and it will protect it from scratches and stuff when you want to resell it later. One of my favorite features of the iPhone is the camera. Oh boy, the camera. I have experience with both the S7 and the S8, and the iPhone 7 wins hands down, especially on video. Let's start with the rear. So let's start with the camera. It's a 12 megapixel camera, and that might not sound like much, but it takes stunning pictures and videos. Here are just some pictures and videos taken on my iPhone 7. No accessories, no editing, and please bear in mind YouTube videos are heavily compressed. The level of detail and the stability is truly incredible for a smartphone, and you also get 60 frames per second, so I would actually recommend to record in HD rather than full K, especially if you don't have a 4K display at the moment, because you can just still get absolutely stunning videos and photos. See, the Galaxy S7 and S8 camera just tend to over sharpen the images a lot, and it looks like a good phone camera. But some of these shots on the iPhone you just think were taken by a professional camera that costs 3 times the price of this phone. And it doesn't stop there. The front camera is 7 megapixels and it also takes amazing photos. Here are just a few. One of the things I absolutely hated on my S7 was the front camera. It had a weird effect to it where the face would look photoshopped and the corners would be rounded and it was just very circular. And it was just so wide, I had to zoom every time I wanted to take a photo. I don't understand why other people haven't mentioned this, but yeah, I just really prefer the cameras on the S7, on the iPhone 7 rather than the S7. And if you're looking to take great photos on your phone, this will do the job. This will definitely do the job. The lack of a headphone jack might annoy you, but the speakers won't. You have one speaker on the bottom like always, and then there's another speaker on the top where the earpiece is. It's basically an earpiece and a speaker. The sound quality is excellent for a phone, and watching videos is a pleasure despite the lower resolution screen and big bezels. So now let's listen to a demo of some non-copyrighted music. So, is it fast? Well, of course it's fast. It's the flagship iPhone. In fact, it's one of the fastest phones in the market right now, despite only having 2 gigabytes of RAM, which doesn't sound like that much when you take into consideration that Samsung has like 6. But iOS is much more efficient, so things just fly. Apps open very quickly, and you can very quickly go through them. And yeah. It's one of the fastest phones on the market, and now let's do a Geekbench score. And there we go. Not bad, huh? Despite only having 2 gigabytes of RAM, it gets a really high score, and a really high score in iOS is amazing because it means you can do pretty much anything with no lag, ever. iOS 11 is just around the corner, and I'll be making a video on that soon, but right now the phone's running on iOS 10.3.3, and I have no real complaints. It performs flawlessly. The home button might look the same like every other iPhone, but it's changed. It's actually fake. It's just a solid piece of glass that's touch sensitive. It not only helps waterproofing, but it also makes it feel completely different than any other iPhone. Oh, and it's customizable. You can select how much feedback you want it to give you, so the clicks really match your preference, which I think is not only cool, but you know, it feels better than a normal home button, and it doesn't break, so yeah. Oh yeah, and also it still makes a click button when you press it, so if you actually listen here, you can probably hear it on the speaker. Can you hear that? If you actually block up the speaker, it doesn't make that, like you can't hear it, because it just adds the intensity, and it still does that click even when you have it on silent, which I think is very good attention to detail, and this is what Apple stands for. So I don't think Apple gets enough credit for their vibrating motor, also known as the Taptic engine. It's responsible for the vibrations with 3D touch and the home button and just, you know, vibrating when someone rings, but it's just so much more than that as well. As toggling stuff on Facebook and mode makes small vibrations like liking or sharing, but it makes the phone feel more alive. For example, scrolling on anything, you can hear the noise, but you can't feel the vibration, but it's like a solid tap. It's like someone tapping you on the hand, and it's the same for calling. It just taps you, and the vibration motor is just fantastic. It's superb. It's in every single app you use, there's some sort of vibration going on, and yeah, it just makes the phone feel alive. It's very futuristic, and I like it a lot. The iPhone has everything you need, but it lacks some things you might like. For example, fast charging, wireless charging, expandable storage, or just being cheap. Some of those things will make an appearance in the iPhone 7s, but if you find yourself not needing all of that, I think the iPhone 7 is a solid choice. It's very fast, looks great, water resistant, takes incredible shots, very reliable, and you can get incredible support with Apple, and I'll be talking about that in my next video, the Apple 1-year warranty and what that means, and I'll also be making a video on how to buy a used iPhone. And yes, by the way, this iPhone was bought used because I cannot buy a new iPhone because of the price, but also the amount of money it loses. So we'll be talking about that later. So stay tuned. And if you have any more questions, please let me know. And yeah, I highly recommend the iPhone 7. If you want to get it in about a couple of days, prices are going to be down. So if you're on the lookout for a new phone, I think this is the one to get.